as you start to awaken, you'll notice that you're getting in touch with your feminine energy. Now, just to clarify, that we are made up of masculine energy as well as feminine energy. But in our society today, there's very much a imbalance of these two energies, the masculine and the feminine energy. There's actually more masculine energy than there is the feminine energy. And as you start awakening, you'll start getting in touch with this feminine energy. And the feminine energy will start balancing that overactivity of the masculine energy. And it's this balance that's key to healing. It's this balance that's key to the wholeness. So as we start awakening, we'll start noticing this subtle shift. And as I talk more about it in this video, you might start realizing that you have already started getting in touch with this feminine energy. You'll start noticing some of these changes within yourself. Because if you're watching this video, then you're already starting to awaken. You're already going through the process. So it's like looking back on your life, you'll start seeing how, it's gradually shifting, that this rising of the feminine energy is really present in your life, and you'll start seeing how it's balancing the masculine energy. So as we get in touch with this feminine energy, we'll start seeing that we start opening up. We start accepting more. We start allowing more. Right? So compared to the masculine energy, which is very controlling and dominant, there's this feeling of more of this acceptance, allowance, this openness, which you might interpret as passiveness, but it's not really passiveness. It's just the lack of so much of the resistance that the masculine energy creates. So with this openness, this acceptance, this allowance for what is, then you start noticing that life is actually much sweeter. The more open, the more accepting, the more you allow, then you start realizing that life is a lot sweeter because you're no longer creating conflict with life. You'll start realizing that you're experiencing more happiness and peace and love the more open you are, because you're not at war with life. This masculine energy is very much this wanting to dominate and control life, wanting to dominate others, wanting to control others, wanting to control the external environment, want to dominate the external environment. You'll start noticing that you are more in touch with your emotions, because the feminine energy is very much this feeling, that you have the capacity to feel what is already here now, and the emotions are already within you. So you'll start wanting to feel your emotions, and because you're more open and accepting, and you can allow those emotions to be within you, well, you're not resisting anymore. You're not resisting your emotions. Therefore, you feel your emotions fully. And when you're feeling your emotions fully, through openness, acceptance, allowance, then you're healing yourself. Because you're loving yourself enough to accept yourself completely. You love yourself, so you allow yourself to be as you are. You love yourself, so you open up to yourself as a whole. And it's the love that heals. So I've said in other videos that the spiritual journey is very much a healing journey. And you'll start seeing this in your life as you start the healing process. As you start your spiritual journey, you'll start seeing, maybe now in retrospect or in hindsight, you'll start seeing how, oh yeah, I am a little bit more open, right? And it's not just open to feelings, it's openness in every area of your life. You're open to trying new things, right? I'm open to trying new food. I'm open to a new job. I'm open to new friends. I'm open to new routines. You've got this openness, right? So what other ways do we see these changes, right? So getting in touch with your feelings, this openness, this allowance, this acceptance, right? What other ways? Well, we just see that because we're not controlling everything and we don't need to control everything, that we have this trust. And this trust is really coming from this feminine energy, that we're just trusting our true nature, that you have a trust in yourself, you have a trust in life, you have a trust in Mother Nature, you have a trust in God, whatever you want to call it, but you have this trust. This is very much the letting go of control is the trust. That you have this trust. You have this trust in that your body has the intelligence to heal itself, right? You have this trust in life to simply provide for you, to give you what you need at the right time, right? So you've got this trust. You have this new, it's not a feeling, but it's this new ability or capacity to pull away from things, to detach from things and come back to yourself. Whereas before you felt so attached to family, structure, friends, society, different things that are outside of you. Whereas then you're not so dependent on it, so then you're coming back to yourself. And as you're coming back to yourself, it's like you're going inward. And as you're going inward, then you're doing more and more self-reflection, introspection, contemplation. All these are inward. And that's really this feminine energy, is this inward. It's coming from within. It's going within. The masculine energy is this going outward. The feminine energy is this going inward. Right? So you're going inward, which is very much the spiritual journey. It's a journey within. Like I'm saying, is the healing, the spiritual journey is very much a healing journey. You're going within. Right? And these deep wounds that we have within ourselves, they're within us. You're going within, you're meeting them within. Right? This feminine energy, it's this embracing. Embracing is like you're giving a hug. You're embracing someone. You're embracing these wounds. You're embracing your feelings. You're embracing life. So you'll see this. You'll see this, really, there's this good milestone that I point out, which is when we awaken to a lot of the destructive habits, a lot of the destructive activities in our life. that it's like we kind of wake up to that this is not serving me. This is not healthy. This is not for my greater well-being. And it's like, you're kind of like, how did I get here? What was I doing? Why am I doing this? And you'll just naturally feel like, with this awareness, that now there's this kind of this, it's like you've leveled up in terms of that vibration to now these destructive patterns, these destructive friends, these destructive thoughts, these destructive activities, it's like a complete mismatch in energy. It's like you're almost like you don't want anything to do with it. You just woke up to those destructive patterns, and then now there's this acceptance that you need to let go of some of these things, right? It takes a lot of time. Or it doesn't take a lot of time. It takes time. So you can't just drop everything all at once. If you can, amazing. Most people can't. So you'll just let it go of things almost like one at a time. But what you'll start swapping them for is more of self-care. There'll be this mark where you kind of awaken from destructive behaviors, destructive activities, destructive patterns, destructive people and experiences in your life, right? You just awaken from this destructiveness, and then you'll start to kind of transition into self-care. You'll start to integrate more self-care activities. So I talk about this a lot with healing, is that there's 3 stages, you could say, very simplistically: awareness, acceptance, and integration. So there's the awareness of that there's something, oh my God, this destructive behavior, this addiction, this destructive pattern. Okay, well, I can't deny it. I can't reject it because I'm actually already rejecting it. I'm unaware of it because it's subconsciously I'm already rejecting. Subconsciously, I don't want to see it. So then there's you're not rejecting, so instead you're accepting. I'm accepting it. Accepting the addiction or the bad pattern or the whatever you're saying is destructive, that's detrimental to your health and well-being. And then now there's this integration phase. You're integrating these parts of yourself. You're not rejecting it. It's like you're working with it. Oh, well, I've got this tendency of doing this, or I've got these negative thoughts, or I've got these dark tendencies. Well, let's not just exile them and reject them, because I was already doing that. But now I'm aware of it, and they are aspects of me. So it's more of like, let me nurture it. I see it. Let me accept it, and let me integrate it as a whole. Right? Likewise, you're integrating more self-care, which is very much, it's this taking care of yourself, where then you're experiencing more of this care, this kindness, this acceptance, this love, this compassion for oneself, which is all this feminine energy. So that's like a good milestone at the start of the journey, is when we have this kind of awakening to this destructive patterns. And then it's like, okay. And then you'll find that you'll just start you'll start kind of getting into self-care, and you'll start wanting to, take care of yourself, which is amazing. That's very much at the start, right? And as you go, you'll just continue this journey, and you'll start noticing that this more and more, this feminine energy is really arising, and that you're getting in touch with your intuition, right? This, again, you can see a lot of this stuff is this intuition. Tuition is like knowledge, knowing, learning, right? It's referring to that. Intuition, inner knowing, inner knowledge, inner learning, right? So Whereas the logical mind, it's very much linear. It's like step by step. If I got to get here, then I got a step by step process. Logically, you're kind of, the thoughts are kind of connecting, and there seems to be this taking time. Intuition, it's very instant. And you don't see how you've come to that. It's just boom, bang. It's like you've arrived at the destination, but you didn't see how you got there. I've arrived at the answer, but it was like there's no journey. It just instantly at the answer, right? It's non-linear. And there's just this inner knowing that this is it. This is what it is. So as you're connecting to this feminine energy, as it starts arising within you, as you're going through your spiritual journey, as you're awakening, you'll start knowing, you'll start having this intuition that there's something in you that seems to know the way. That's this knowing that's just spontaneously arising. And because you're letting go of control in certain things, you're letting go of like the how. How is something going to, like the how is the process, right? This is there's this, maybe a desire or maybe a dream or maybe a goal or maybe some sort of thing that just arises where you kind of feel like, all right, something's kind of like calling me, or something wants to come through me, something wants to be created, but I don't know how. But then it's kind of like you're letting go of the how, you're letting go of the process. You don't really need to know. You don't need to have everything figured out. But you know that that's what wants to come through. But you don't know how. And you're letting go of the how. You're letting go of the control of how do you figure it out, right? And then instead of trying to think your way through it, it's just intuitively guided to, you could say that whatever wants to be expressed through you, right? So we're kind of talking about a couple things here: intuition as well as creativity. Because the other thing that really comes with this connection to this feminine energy is creativity. Because this feminine energy, we've got the masculine energy and the feminine energy, but this is video mostly about the feminine energy, as you can tell. They're both divine. So we've got the divine masculine and divine feminine, because really everything is divine, right? So when you hear divine feminine or divine masculine, it's not like there's a masculine and a feminine that's not divine. That's not what it is. That there's the two energies, which are actually one. It's the one energy that basically has two aspects of it, you could say, qualities of the one energy, which is the universal energy, which is divine. And when you're connected to this divine feminine energy, you'll notice that you're starting to become more and more creative, because it is the creative power, it's the creative potential that gives power to the creation. It's what everything's made up of. So when you're connected to that feminine energy, you're very much connected to the creative potential of life. And you'll start basically just wanting to create. You'll just naturally have this creativity to you, where it's like anything that you touch, you'll want to do it somehow creatively. You'll start seeing that just anything can be creative, right? Whereas you see a lot of people that are very masculine, it's like, how do I get that part of my brain working? Usually they'll say like, I'm not, whatever it is, right brain-sided, or that side of my brain is not working, right? We'll kind of say things like this. It's not like that. It's very much this balance of these two aspects of the one energy, that you're getting in touch with the creative potential of life. And because you're in touch with it, you've got this connection, you could say, to it, where then it just wants to naturally express itself through you. You'll start noticing that because you've let go of the linear thinking of the how, you've let go of the whole thinking process, that then it's like, wow, there's just so much empty space and there's just not really much thinking happening. But instead, there's just peace. There's this tranquility of mind, this equanimity of mind. You'll notice that when the thoughts do arise, they're not the destructive thoughts that you used to have early on at the start of the journey. You'll see that you're not in this tug of war with thoughts. You'll just see like there's a thought that just kind of appears out of nowhere, just like out of the peace. Then there's just this thought, right? Out of nothing, there's something. And that something tends to be this creative thought, this creative idea that you'll just kind of sense that, that wants to come through me. That idea wants to be expressed. That idea wants to be birthed, right? It's the feminine. It's that idea wants to be birthed, right? It wants to be birthed. It's like the mind, essentially, it's like it's impregnated with this creative thought that then wants to be birthed into this physical reality. And it's like it uses this as the instrument to bring that to life, you could say. Just how we're talking about it here. Still talking about it, obviously, still dualistically here, where there's the two, but just having fun with the video. So anyway, so you start noticing that obviously there's less thoughts, but then when there's more thoughts, when there is the thoughts, that there are these creative thoughts that just something wants to come to life. And because you've let go of the how and you're more in touch with the intuition, then it just feels like you've just got this inner guidance that are just kind of, things are kind of lined up. And because you've let go of control, of trying to control life, then you have this trust in life. And it feels like there's this co-creation happening where it's not just you by yourself that's bringing this thought to life. It's everything is working to bring this to life. So then you start experiencing synchronicities. You start experiencing way more synchronicities in your life, that things are just kind of lining up. Like someone just calls you, or someone sends you an email and something happens, or someone gives you money, or something falls away to make more space. You'll just start feeling, move my hands a lot. You'll start feeling like everything is kind of conspiring to make this thing happen. You'll start kind of get some help out of nowhere. Or like I said, is at the time, sometimes it might not feel like it's actually helping this, but in hindsight, it's like, wow, yeah, unless that thing just kind of dropped, unless that previous project just dropped, or that previous thing that I was holding on to, unless that was let go of, then I wouldn't have the time to devote to this new thing. I explain this a lot in other videos that talk about creativity. Is very much it's like being a kid playing Lego. I explained in one video like this, where you build something, and to be creative, you have to have the courage to let go of the version one. You have to have the courage to let go of that creation that you created so that you can create the new thing. And you're constantly creating and then kind of like letting go or allowing it to be destroyed, right? Where it's like a kid. There's just like kind of, you build something and then it's like, and you smash it, and then you build something new. Whereas you could see is like as adults, it's like, no, I want to preserve it. This is mine. This is going to be my legacy, right? It's this preservation where it's like that's good and everything, but it's also this fun, this just having this freedom to just create with no attachments. See, when you're attached to something and you're like, this is mine, then you don't want to break it, right? And you throw a tantrum, right? When you look at kids, it's just they build something and then it's like, and then they stomp on it or something, right? And they want to start all over, right? You start feeling that ease, that freedom when you're creating. That's like, all right, well, hey, I built it, and then now let's build another one. And it's just as fun to build another one. It almost feels like with every kind of iteration, every version, that you're just naturally better because it's like you're gaining experience points, right? So you'll just start naturally feeling like that you're more creative. And you'll see it, like I said, is you'll just see it being expressed in every area of your life. You'll just start being more creative with cooking, or being more creative with whatever it is, taking a walk or just being in nature, or you'll just naturally, maybe these new activities, maybe you want to dance or sing or poetry, or just something that just like you never even thought that you would be doing it. Something that even the let's say like the you that was so destructive, you would make fun of poetry or make fun of someone who sings or someone who dances and be like, not in a million years, I would never be doing that. And then all of a sudden it's like, you're now open, right? The openness, you're open to the idea of trying something new. And then it's like, yeah, I actually enjoy this. I enjoy this. And then now there's seems to be this kind of this intuition that says like, I want to start like moving my body a little bit more. I want to start doing this movement practice, or I want to start dancing, or I really want to start expressing myself vocally through music, right? Or singing, right? So these type of things you'll start noticing in your life as you're going through the journey, that there's just more and more of this. Like I said, at the time you might not notice it, but I feel like when you kind of do notice it, you can kind of lean into it a little bit more. Like having the awareness that, oh yeah, it is because I'm more open, or it is because I'm more accepting, or yeah, I'm more trusting because I am letting go of control. I feel like just having that awareness could help really connect to this energy more, to lean into it, you could say, to allow it to be there, to see that, to have the awareness of where you might still be resisting it. Right? I'll use an example. Just a lot of, when I post some stuff on social media, or you get some comments from guys, and I'm talking about emotional healing, let's say in a certain video, and then I'll get some guys, not a chance. Emotions are bad. I'm never going to feel my emotions, right? Or talk about like, just even in the video, like speak about feminine energy, and they're like, I don't want anything to do with feminine energy. No way, right? So it's again having that awareness where it could be, again, like, what if you heard that connecting with the feminine energy is going to make you way more creative, and that's going to help you with your business, right? Or what if connecting with the feminine energy is going to make you way more nurturing, and that's going to make you an amazing parent, right? So it could be helpful in that way. Who knows? It's part of the journey to basically allow this to unfold as it's on its own, because very much the spiritual journey, the healing journey, the flowering of consciousness is very much this. It's like this feminine. When you start experiencing that feminine aspect, like I said, it's not like it's all feminine. It's the fact that like you're so used to the masculine that this has become just like the norm, that you're used to it, where then now it's like you're integrating like another type of energy, the other half of the energy, where now you're feeling this complete power because you have the balance of both the masculine and the feminine. You're feeling the wholeness, the fullness, the totality of this power that you are. And you're feeling it in every moment. And you're seeing how it's being expressed in different moments. You'll feel like, yeah, when you want to be stern with someone, then you've got that masculine energy. When you want to, do things, when you need that physical strength, that you've got that. Right? But then it's like, well then, hey, you want to help someone, heal, then you've got to be open, create that open space for them. You got to allow, right? You're not judging, you're accepting, right? And then they can feel, this is like a nurturing space. This is an open space. This is a caring space, which then provides the right environment for healing. Or with kids, if all you're doing is getting angry with kids and you're just blasting them, right? you did this wrong and that's wrong and this is wrong and that's wrong, right? Doing that, all the judgment and just getting angry, which is basically throwing fire at them. You're like a flamethrower, just coming out of your mouth like a dragon, getting angry at your kids all the time. That's very masculine. So what does the fire need? Well, the fire needs the water to balance it, to kind of in that situation to put out the fire, right? Whereas, well, then it's more, right, an angry tone of voice, right, with the angry eyes, but more it's like, more of a acceptance, more of a nurturing, more of a softer voice to kind of de-escalate the situation, right? Because that's where two anger, right? Two people and just expressing the anger, that just, all you do, right? One flamethrower against another flamethrower, you just burn everything, right? But if you got the flamethrower and I'm just water, then it's really hard for you to be angry at someone who's just that water. That's where the water will put out the fire, right? And having that awareness to kind of see these energies and kind of play with them, essentially. Whereas you start becoming more aware, you start, oh yeah, I am pretty much like a flamethrower in my house. I'm really burning my entire family. I'm burning this house down with my anger. You become more aware of it, accept it, and then integrate that water. And you start seeing how your anger just starts diffusing. That fire just comes right down. You start seeing how your family starts responding to that. There's our nurturing, loving mother, right? There it is. Or just even like the that's just the mother. I'm just giving an example. Or even the father, right? Oh, wow, right? Our dad used to be just a workaholic and just a go, 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 and was super, super driven. And he was kind of a hard ass. But now it's like, there's a gentle side to him. There's a soft side. There's more of this nurturing side. And you see this, and it doesn't, I should have mentioned this at the start of the video. Just because you're a woman does not mean that you are this full of this feminine energy, right? That's kind of a misconception. That doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if you're male or female, that we have this both, that the complete human being is the balance of both masculine and feminine. It's very much, you can very much be a male and really connected to this feminine energy and really almost have, I shouldn't say almost, but to have others, let's say like your kids, really see you as that nurturing mother, almost, you could say is even more. You see this with a lot of like, kind of like business culture and stuff, right? A lot of the female CEOs or female executives, they've got this drive, right? This drive, this masculine. They want to lay down the law and everything. That's fine. There's no judgment there. I'm just showing you that when you look at it, you're seeing a woman, but you're also seeing a lot of this masculine energy, a lot of this, again, this drive, this domination, this control, this power in that sense, right? Whereas what I'm saying is it doesn't matter male or female. I'm saying that there just needs to be a balance of the energy. So it's like let go of the male and female gender, just say gender neutral, let's say, and just see it as masculine, feminine, or to make it even easier to let go of those words, because masculine doesn't mean male and feminine doesn't mean female. It's not like that. You could say as yin and yang, right? And see it like that. Right? So as you're awakening, you'll start seeing that this balance is coming more and more in your life. It's very much with this feminine energy. So the invitation is to get in touch more and more with that, to have more and more awareness of that divine feminine energy that feels like it's arising in you. It feels like it's rising, or it's like kind of coming from the background, or feeling like it's entering your life, you could say. That, I'm just more patient, I'm more calm, I'm more soothing, I'm more nurturing, I'm more soft, I yield more, I can let go. I've explained in other videos, like you'll feel like you're more like water. Whereas before you're just like this gigantic like block of ice, like you're an iceberg. But now you'll start feeling like you're kind of melting and you're becoming more and more like water. And that's very much like this journey, as you become more and more like water, to the point where then you start feeling like you're actually more and more like vapor. Like you feel so open, so free, right? Like you're everywhere, that you'll just feel like the vapor. And it's this kind of like these kind of stages of the journey, or there's kind of like the states that you'll start experiencing this on the relative level, right? You'll start experiencing these different kind of states, these transitions. So it's basically just kind of talking about that, and hopefully it brings some awareness. And if you feel like you are experiencing some of these things, obviously there's way too much stuff to just include in this video about the divine feminine, but I'm trying to just point out some kind of, let's say, some examples how you can start seeing it to create some awareness on your spiritual journey. And then you can, like I said, is kind of like lean into it. Or another way to say is like integrate more of that. Integrate more of that, right? It's not like you're going to overdo it, right? You're going to integrate, and you're going to see that it's just going to, you'll find that balance, and you'll find like this, you've just got more and more of this flow of this energy, which will allow you to handle situations. It will allow you to handle any situation, because it's like that energy just expresses itself in that situation. Just like I said with that example of like, let's say parenting, right? It's like you only had one tool to just blast your kids with anger. And then it's like, oh, I've got the water now, right? I only used to know how to throw fire, but now I can just be like water, right? And then you start noticing that it's like, when I'm more like water in those situations, it's like the situation seems to resolve much faster. It seems to be a situation that like no one gets hurt, because I'm using that water instead of the fire. It'll start coming to you like this, or there's just more and more awareness. Another example, you'll say, yeah, when I'm not trying to force a sale, I'm not trying to force my product or service onto a customer, you'll start seeing like when you're just more open and you're more like, let me understand your needs, or let me understand you on a deeper level, let me connect with you emotionally, then they'll just naturally start feeling like you aren't so defensive, that you've put down your sword and shield, and that you're there actually to serve them without this selfishness, without the taking. You'll see that you're just wanting to give, right? So you'll see it. Like those are just two examples, but you'll start seeing this throughout your life, is in all areas of your life, I should say, that you'll just start seeing that this kind of divine feminine energy is just naturally expressing itself. And with more and more awareness and more integration, you'll see how you can integrate more and more of this divine feminine, and it will create this balance, which then you'll start feeling balance, and your life will start feeling balance. See you in the next one.